So, I'm going to come up with a story, and I'm going to do my go-to, which I told this story time last semester, but I don't think that anybody that's in this section can do it. Anyways, regardless, it'll be a little bit confusing. But a lot of people told me that it was a big crazy story, and it is, but it's also a very stupid story, or a story that illustrates my stupidity pretty well. So, it was several years ago, and I was traveling through Asia, and this was about a month into our travel. And we were in Phnom Penh, Cambodia. And we just arrived there. It was our second day in the city, so we had flown in the day before, and it really was just traveling with us. This was our first time in the city, and so first day we had lots of days to explore. We didn't know where we were. We didn't know much about the city, where we were located, or anything. We were in the marketplace, and really busy. The main city market. People were just filtering by us everywhere. And my friend was sort of a couple of people in front of me, and suddenly she came back to me and said, I met this man, and he wants to take us to go shoot guns. And I was really taken back. I said, what? She goes, this man wants to take us to go shoot guns, and I said, let's do it. Let's do it. I was like, that sounds really, really dumb. I don't think that we should. And she sort of did this little field trip about how I had wanted, we're both always up for adventure, and in some other previous weeks, I had persuaded her to do things that she didn't want to do, and they had always been a very good time. So I sort of conceded, thinking that it was her turn to have an adventure, and I said, okay. I started following her and this Cambodian man, more or less just to get out of the marketplace. It was so busy and crowded, I was ready to get out of there. And the next thing I know, we're in this man's tuk-tuk, which is sort of like a car in Cambodia. It's a golf cart, sort of a super golf cart. And so Keem and I get in, and the man's facing us, and then there's another driver who we had never spoken to or never did. And we start talking to Keem. I'm like, what are we doing exactly? Oh, we're going to shoot guns. He's going to drive us there. It'll be great. It'll be fun. It'll be an adventure. And she said, okay. So we start driving. And we sort of leave the city. And I don't know which direction we're going, but before you know it, we've been on the road for half an hour. And we're in the middle of the country. And I have no idea where the city is. And I haven't seen another tuk-tuk pass in 20 minutes. There's no houses, there's no buildings. It's prairie grass and jungle all around us. And at some point, the man who had approached Keem, while he was always a local Cambodian, he was always wearing a baseball cap and sunglasses, he had a handkerchief around his neck. He took the handkerchief and covered his face. So at this point, you can't see any of his face. And I started to read. So he starts talking to us. He says, "The American, what do you think about the government?" And this was the Bush years. So my friend and I, who were both political, we decided it's not really the time or the place to go into it. We just sort of glossed over it, saying, we're not that happy, but it is what it is. It'll get better. And he says, shoot, I wish the war was dead. All of a sudden, we realized he's a rebel, which had been going in newspapers in Cambodia recently about this rebel uprising against the royal regime. And it's not really someone involved. So we're driving still. There's no one around, and I start grabbing keys. Here, this mistake. All teen keeps me. Sorry. And at this point, we both start sweating. And we were driving, and I still don't really know what it is, but there's like huge bonfire going on in one of the fields we passed. And you see a bunch of like Cambodian men sitting around it. And so we're doing it. We were 45 minutes out of the city. And we pull onto a really small road. That's just dirt. And we drive up to a fence that's 15 feet. And there are two Cambodian men guarding the kids. Our man jumps off. They both pull open the fence and we drive in. And my friend Keen just is sitting there and saying, "You're thinking I was kidnapped. I mean, I'm kidnapped at this point. And something awful about that." And then you walk in, and there's this huge enclosure of all these buildings. And this man walks up and talks to our meeting. And the guy comes over and sort of moves Keen and I along to this small building that's nearby. And there's a table with all of these guns on it. And he just says, hey. And so we realized that, oh my gosh, it's sort of a legit business. We're not being kidnapped. We take a couple of weapons, and they go and they take us and shoot them at this target that's forever away. And then they say, "We want to throw grenades." And we're like, "Sure." So we give us grenades, and you get to choose. Do you want to throw it into the field, or do you want to throw it into the lake? And there's like a lake in this enclosure. And we're like, okay. So, I mean, it was very bizarre. We do a bunch of stuff. Pay the guy. Get back on the tuk-tuk. He drives us about 10 minutes, and then tells us to get off. So we were sort of stranded in the middle of nowhere for a minute. And we started walking, and then we realized that there was... Somehow we figured out where we were on the map that we had, and we were not that far from like a national monument. So we walked for 20 minutes or so. And then we got to a different road that had much more traffic on it. And we were able to get tuk-tuk to take us to the monument where we spent the rest of the afternoon. But it was quite an adventure. It was quite a morning adventure. I thought that I was going to do. Definitely not a but it's a story that it's fun to tell. Another minute and a half? What am I going to talk about? I want to say it was that night. It was that night or the next night. We went out to a very nice restaurant in Clinton, and I got the worst food poisoning of my life. We've been eating a lot of street food, which you're not really supposed to do, but I was a vegan at the time, so it's pretty safe to eat vegetarian fare. And I've been fine. I've been eating that street fare food for over a month in these Asian countries. And then we decided to splurge on a really nice restaurant. So sick that I actually was for the next 2 days before I was helping that. And that was really just but I always have that sort of takeaway with me. Pictures and shell casings. They brought some shell casings back with me. To be honest, I didn't even know if what happened actually happened. For a while, I thought it was